prepared yet.
You need to try and pick off the units as... Look at the shields on the Martin.
Oh my god, the world's gonna take this.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Metalopolis. There are fights going on the roofs of these buildings, and the people inside are a little bit afraid. My name is Total Biscuit, joined by the masterful Mr. Diapollo.
Hey, what's up?
I bring you ViBE from Team 6 Jacks. He is in the green trunks to the east of this particular map, and he is, of course, playing Zerg versus his opponent, the one and only Nerchio.
Making his debut in the IGN Pro League now, Nerchio. Can he continue his success? He's had a lot of success in European tournaments. And ViBE, on the other hand, did compete in IPL Season 1.
He did.
He did, and he actually did really well. I didn't think he did that well. I looked over the results, and I was like, oh, wow, you beat some really good players.
Yeah, he did.
You know, beat Minigun, beat Phoenix, beat Strolife, and finally being knocked out by Kiwakaki, the eventual second-place player in that tournament. But this is going to be a close game to really, really awesome Zerg players and very awesome ZVZ matchup players.
ZVZ is a very cutthroat matchup, kind of like PvP as well in that regard. It's very cutthroat, it's very brutal, and of course it comes down to little things. It's whether or not you make a mistake at a certain point in the game, as opposed to whether or not your opponent does, and of course what your count is. It depends on how it really goes. I mean, there's a few ways that Zerg versus Zerg can actually go. Why don't you walk us through a few of those potential openings?
Well, in this kind of map, and the way you've scattered each other with the Overlord straight away, it's usually a macro game. Simply because you're going to see any early aggression with the Overlord, therefore you want to kind of play safer because it's going to be scouted. So we are going to see a hatchery first from ViBE here, and on the other hand we are going to see spawning pool first, followed by the extractor. So it looks like Nerchio might be going for some kind of late speed or possibly roach opening, or on the other hand we do have ViBE, who is going to open up hatchery into extractor, which is usually for a speedling open, which is the speed upgrade for the Zerglings, and we'll be seeing a lot of Zerglings most likely from ViBE.
We'll see whether or not that happens, and often you'll find that ZVZ can turn very much in the first 5 to 10 minutes into a Baneling-Zergling war.
Oh, indeed. So many Banelings, so many Lings, but it really does depend. If Nerchio decides to go for a Roach Warren, then we might not see any Banelings. You don't really want to build Banelings against Roaches, so you can just go ahead and open up with Zerglings. But still, we are not seeing a Roach Warren gone down from Nerchio. If it was going to go down, it should have been by now, and it looks like he's just going to go ahead and openly with a later expansion, a little bit safer, going to be able to get that speed soon, and we'll have to see how it progresses from here. And the way the Overlords are positioned in the middle of the map, you want to be basically creating a line of vision from base to base, because the only way they're going to get shot down is via Queens, which shouldn't really be leaving the creep.
No, they should not. That is unwise, to say the least. And ViBE will be opening with a Roach Warren right here, so that should, hopefully, at least for these guys, shut down the possibility of those Baneling-Zergling wars.
Yeah, and we are going to have Nerchio scout. I mean, pick off a couple of units here, and he's going to be able to scout and see what's going on. And did he actually see the Roach Warren, though?
That's a great question.
No, he didn't.
He did not. It was well hidden. The Roach Warren right at the back there for ViBE. So we'll see what kind of response is going to come in from Nerchio, since he's having to go in blind. And Nerchio gets to the Baneling nest, which is perhaps not the optimal thing to do right now.
Yeah, I mean, if he'd scouted the Roach Warren, I'm 100% certain he would have thrown down a Roach Warren of his own. But he has got a Baneling nest in a defensive manner, in an offensive manner, and defensive manner. And we'll have to see which one he does decide to do. I think it's going to be the aggressive side, though. And we even see a Spine Crawler being put down by ViBE. He's going to try and block the ramp as well to prevent any Zerglings going up. And it looks like speed just about to finish for Nerchio. And will he be aggressive? Look at the production tab. A lot of Lings in production. Another Queen, too. And Roach is in production for ViBE now, so he's going to be able to block the ramp quite easily, and with the Spine Crawler too, should be quite safe.
Yeah, he doesn't have to worry too much, really. We'll see, however, if he can actually get into maybe the minimal line of ViBE, but ViBE isn't actually mining from this expansion at all right now, so to be fair, there's not a lot of damage you can really do with those Banelings, and of course Nerchio just now is aware of the Roaches, and he actually immediately cancels all these Banelings.
Oh yeah, there's no need to go Banelings now. You need to just go ahead and macro up yourself. As you can see in the production tab, he's making only drones. And when somebody opens up a very safe build like ViBE is doing now, you need to abuse that. He cannot be offensive. He can't move out off creep with Roaches because they're so slow, and they're going to take a long time to get to you. And if he does, you can build a lot of Speedlings yourself and Roaches yourself. and continue to defend it from there. So he should be droning quite heavily now to try to catch up. Look at the drone count. 22 now for Nerchio versus 17.
It's a good one. There's no doubt about that one. And Nerchio, thankfully, able to make his way out of that early game error and placing down the bailing nest, and is well prepared for any kind of real aggression coming in from ViBE right now. Look at that. That was a nice surround right there. A good grab by Nerchio as he prevents most of the Zerlings getting in, but I've got to say, ViBE did get some good scouting information there.
Yeah, he got a lot of scouting information, and now he needs to go back to drones himself. He's seen the Roach War, and he knows that Nerchio can't be really aggressive either, and until speed is done for the Roaches, you don't really see anybody push out. And if they do, you've got your own Roaches, you've got your own Lings to defend against it. And if you move out and you don't have enough units, you're just going to be caught off by Speedlings and surrounded and pretty much killed. So it looks like ViBE throwing down another Spine Crawl, surprisingly. Is going to cancel it. And a bit of harassment going on here by these Lings, taking as many drones out as possible to continue the edge. If you look at it now, 29 versus 32. And 6 drones in production for each player now, trying to rush up to around 40-50 drones to saturate both bases.
Yep, restarts the Spine Crawler. He wants to play nice and defensively right here. Evolution Chamber did go down for Nerchio, and he started the +1 missile attack upgrade, so we're going to see a Roach-heavy composition for the moment, possibly followed by Hydras.
Yeah, we'll have to see which they do. Hydras are very good in this matchup for the DPS, though it's probably better if you go Roach Infester. That's pretty much the standard in this matchup, simply because Hydras die so fast, and until you have a critical amount of Roaches, you can't really afford to build Hydras that die so fast, especially in this matchup. And Ling does go into the base for Nerchio inside Druby, and sees there's no layer. He sees the second gas added on, and he's got to be careful because the layer is that late that it still could be an aggressive play.
Yep. Got into ViBE's base, had a look around, see what he can see, possibly stole a few socks. It is a possibility. He's a sneaky individual like that. You know, he can throw a pro player off balance, as we've seen with some recent tweets by certain players. Yes, socks. Nothing worse than socks, or indeed their lack
Smelly
of.
socks.
Ugh, yes, a horrible environment to play in. You cannot work under those conditions. We'll see that Nerchio does have a lead in terms of both his lair and his missile attack upgrade. So he'll be looking to get Roach speed before his opponent, and then start to press, I would imagine, in that critical timing window.
It's pretty much mirrored so far. I mean, they've both saturated their main and natural, and it looks like ViBE's going to go ahead and take the initiative and take a third base. And the drone is out to go ahead and do so. And lucky, Nerchio has a Overlord in position to scout it, and does see that go down. And we'll want to throw down a hatchery of his own soon, in case he falls behind an economy. Or he might wait until he gets Roach speed and then push out with a large timing attack, maybe +2 timing attack. And if we don't see a hatchery go down soon, he's definitely going to do that. But actually, he's going to throw down a hatchery in the gold location.
That's an intriguing and risky maneuver, but you never know. It might actually work. Of course, it lets you mine more, and you need less drones in order to properly saturate that, so that's pretty good. And that will also give him a good supply lead. Infestation Pit comes down for both players. Roach speed is only coming for Nerchio right now. Yeah,
it's interesting Nerchio decides to go for that gold base, actually, simply because you don't really need minerals too much in this matchup. It's all about the gas. And I like that poke there by Nerchio with the Roaches to force more Roaches, and to kind of deny any more drone production, because at this stage of the game, when you're getting a third base up, you should be trying to oversaturate your natural so that you can transfer a healthy 18-20 drones over to that third base. And as you can see, the unit tab, 55 drones versus 44 now for Nerchio, 10 lead advantage.
It's looking pretty good right now for him. There's no real question about that. And once that Roach speed comes up, we've got Pathogen Glands on the way as well, so Infestors are going to be in the mix. And Infestor Roach is an interesting and cutthroat matchup.
Yeah, it's all going to come down to who can get the best fungal growths off. And look at that transfer, that healthy transfer going down. Good amount to that gold base. We'll go into the extractors immediately and start mining gas. And Nerchio, just seconds ahead of ViBE, got the third base up faster, got the extractors down faster, transferred faster, and that's all important because ViBE has not taken the gases yet on this third base. Which is really, really bad. And he's making 15 drones at once right now, simply because of these poking actions from Nerchio, forcing him to build units, not drones.
Yeah, Nerchio dictating the momentum and the pace of this particular game, and that's never what you want. Nerchio is an absolute master of manipulation when it comes to forcing his opponent to do exactly what Nerchio would like to happen. And the Overseer is up for ViBE. He does see the Roach count. I have to see and wonder what the response will actually be here.
And unfortunately for ViBE, I don't think he's keeping up with the pace of this game. He's fallen behind in drones and units. He's fallen behind in Overlords, getting supply capped a lot. And Nerchio, again, being the driver of this car and taking that fourth base really putting the pressure on. Even though he's not doing anything, he's putting the pressure on ViBE to do something because he scouted the 4th base again, like he scouted the 3rd base. And it's all going to be about ViBE pushing out on a timing rather than Nerchio, because Nerchio's got this economy advantage. And look at this. Ling run by down in the south location. 2 spine crawls and a queen, though. Should be enough to defend this.
Oh, yeah, it shouldn't be a problem. But, of course, he is able to get some useful information about how many roaches ViBE actually has right there. Now, ViBE smartly doesn't show his infestor count, but still, you can make something out of that. That's the cool thing about Nerchio. Whatever Nerchio does, he does it for a very good reason. And he's always able to turn even a loss into a gain.
Yeah, I mean, he checked the 4th base. He checked the drone count on that 3rd base. He checked the spine crawls there. Can I attack there at a later date with a different type of unit? And great information there. But now, here is ViBE pushing out because he is behind 174 food versus Nerchio's 185. How many infestors does Nerchio have? He has 6 infestors versus 5 infestors here too. All going to be about these fungal growths and positioning.
Yep, and of course, bearing in mind the amount of visibility on the map, it's very, very obvious that these guys know exactly where their opponents are, and they're looking for optimum positioning. Of course, bunching up like that is very, very risky for fungal growths, so Nerchio needs to watch himself on that one. ViBE holding back in a defensive formation. He's a little bit spread out, not as much as I would like. Queen moving forward right here for Nerchio, and that was a sacrificial scouting queen, I have to assume?
Exactly. And a missed fungal growth there by Nerchio could lose in this fight.
Yeah, that's going to be a little bit messy right now. Big fungals on the front right there. Infestors eliminated. But look at that mass fungal. That's nasty stuff right there. You're going to need more than an ointment to deal with that kind of fungal growth. And we've got some infested terrors going in, but there's the burrow right here. And, of course, where's the overseer?
That's pretty much a big mistake from ViBE. He realizes and builds an overseer now. And he was a little bit ahead of that, especially because he had the infested terrans, but now has lost that advantage. All these roaches are healing up. The one difference in this game for ViBE is that he has a Hydra Den going down, and that could change the fight, especially with the DPS coming out.
Well, we're about to find out one way or the other, because ViBE is currently burrowed. ViBE does at least have an overseer this time around. However, Nerchio seems to have forgotten his. I don't know where he's put that one. And now splitting his force up into two groups and looking to try and apply pressure to this 4th base, which he should be able to do without any problem whatsoever. An interception coming in from the side. Now, he could lure him in for a good fungal right there. He nails down at one. He's looking for another. That's a mass fungal in the middle right there, and Nerchio taking a pounding. There's the response, and right now, I'd say Nerchio is melting right here.
Yeah, indeed, and the concave was good, but reinforcements do come from behind to take out damage. Nice borrow micro from both players, though guess who's got the overseer? ViBE has, and that's going to give him the advantage in that fight. 169 food for ViBE, and versus Nerchio's 148 now. Tides have turned.
Yep, the roach count was looking very unpleasant a few seconds ago, and it now has shifted, and Nerchio's still slightly behind, though. I say slightly, 27 to 46. That is quite the disadvantage. And ViBE looking for an opportunity, and it looks like he's going to get it right here as he rains down some terror upon Nerchio's gold expansion. Yeah,
the defender's always going to have an advantage, and unfortunately that advantage fell in the favor of ViBE. But now as he cleans up this base, a lot of damage going down here, Total Biscuit.
No one can see because there are too many overlords in the air. We saw the fungal growth right there on ViBE. Unfortunately, ViBE does have this advantage. He's able to push this back quite nicely. The upgrades are identical one way or the other. In the meantime, we've got an infested Terran harassment to the bottom in the 3rd base of ViBE, which is an interesting move. However, it depends whether Nerchio is really going to be able to hold this. It looks like he will with the constant reinforcements streaming in. He's able to clean it up and, for the most part, save the gold base.
Yeah, a lot of drones were killed. Some were pulled off. Really nice play by Nerchio. And basically, the same mentality you have as a Zerg player against Protoss, you need to get Spore Crawls and Spine Crawls up to defend against DTs. It's the same thing in this matchup. Because of borrowed infestors, they're so fast. And with a couple of fungal growths and infested Terrans, a lot of damage can be dealt. And that's really hurt his economy. And now the fight has swung into the favor of Nerchio. Large roach count here.
Yeah, and he's now streaming into the base. He managed to flank his opponent very, very nicely. The fungal growth right there being applied by ViBE, charging it, and that's a good fungal on the group of roaches right here for Nerchio. Another one to follow it up, but he's in a bit of a desperate defense right here, and this is going to be messy one way or the other. ViBE looking to move in and finish things up, but he almost lost the hatchery there.
Indeed, and he's going to pull out now, and the problem with when you're attacking against a Zerg player in this kind of situation is there's hatchery spread all around the map. And this hatchery's gone down, but usually there's hatchery spread around all the entire map, and that you're going to get attacked by reinforcements from all different angles. And that's how Nerchio lost his advantage now, and that was really crucial in killing that hatchery. And he's trying to clean up all the infestors. They do finally leave, as you can see on the left-hand side of this Metalopolis map. but they have done a lot of damage here and there. They can retreat, build up the energy again, and come back with the main army, which is looking pretty deadly now for
Yeah,
Nerchio.
Nerchio is looking very terrifying. He's doing what he tends to do when he gets into this position of advantage, which is to expand again. He's looking to be on his 5th base, and he denied ViBE's 4th, so this is a really great position for him. And ViBE starting to collapse under the pressure of Nerchio's Roach attack, followed up by some excellent fungal growths once again. This is not looking to be great for ViBE at all, and inexplicably Nerchio throwing all of his overseers over there. There's a good fungal, a very good fungal right here by ViBE, but he's still fighting a losing battle, and his Roach count is not looking healthy.
Not at all. I mean, even if Nerchio loses all these, look at the gold of Nerchio. He has so many infestors, more roaches and so on, and he is going to retreat with these roaches. He can borrow and heal up once again. Meanwhile, he keeps attacking the bases, the 4th base and the 3rd base, denying and suffocating the economy of ViBE here.
ViBE is not looking great right now. He really, really isn't. He can't expand. There's nowhere safe. His army is smaller than his opponent's, and he really doesn't have anything to give him this edge. And honestly, this is the point where Nerchio just comes down with the hammer blow and just says, you know what? I can afford this. I can throw in big damage. That's exactly what he just did right there with a great fungal. He's able to pick off the first vanguard of roaches, going for the second one right there. Follows it up. GG, ladies and gentlemen. Very nicely played there by Nerchio, who was looking a little dodgy for a while.
G to the G, but the economy of Nerchio pulls through at the end of the day. The harassment by Nerchio really pulled him back. I think if he hadn't have done that and ViBE could have continued to reinforce units over units over units, then Nerchio was looking pretty bad, I feel. But he managed to do so with the harassment, pulled it back, takes game 1.
Nicely done there by Nerchio, and looking in a good position going into Game 2. You're currently watching the IGN Pro League Season 2 with myself. Let's get joined by the masterful Mr. Diapollo, and we'll be back with Game 2 in just a few short moments. Don't go anywhere.